consider this life. I do not consider this a person.
Right.
Okay, now we're talking. Now we're getting there.
Choice, since that will be 18 years on your life to take care of this human being. Okay?
Now we're getting
and you know
to
what?
it, though.
If you really care to do it well, you shouldn't be just having all the babies you ever conceived.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Well is a relative term too, but hold on, I'm getting back to it. But you're starting to get to it.
Give the time.
You said that you don't think that's a person. That's what I thought I heard you say. Is that correct?
I guess, yeah.
You said, and correct me if I'm wrong, you think it's human, but it's not a person. Is that right?
It's human, yeah.
But it's not a person. Now we're getting at the crux of it.
This is really not the crux of it.
Yeah, it is, because that's where we disagree.
You guys are trying to solve a problem by introducing new problems to the society that you don't even have idea what consequences they will have overall.
Let's just be super simple. You do understand what he's saying, right? He's saying that you understand it's a human but not a person.
About legislating things. I mean, this is a huge change.
But let's just say for example, let's say that the unborn is a person. If it is, I'm not saying that's your view. I'm just saying if it is a person,
Would you be agreeing?
then that becomes a whole different debate. And so since you said you believe it's a human being but not a human person, see, then that's what we have to look at.
She said it was human life. Sperm is human life too. She didn't say it was human being. Okay. She didn't say it.
Don't like play word games.
He asked you if it was fair to say that you believed it was a human being but not a human person.
That's not what he said.
And you replied, yes, we can rewind the video, okay? So we can play name games all day. But do you see what his point was? That if it's a person, then it's a whole different debate. So that's what we're trying to talk about now. Do you understand that? You said, and then you totally rejected what he said and said, you're trying to legislate morality, and you're avoiding it. We want to be simplistic and structured in how we talk about this, so that we can have an intellectually honest debate. Is that fair? So do you see what he was saying, that we say it's wrong in the case of born people because we all recognize they're persons. But there's a disagreement when we're talking about the unborn. So when you said you rejected, so that's not the crux of the matter. The matter's legislating morality, and you can't do that. Well, no, it really is the crux of the debate, isn't it? Because we don't do that to born people who are persons, but we disagree about the unborn being a person. So if the unborn is a person, then it's a whole different debate.
We have to first settle that. We have to first settle that in order for us to go further.
That's true.
Otherwise, we're like two ships passing in the night.
And
you know what I mean?
just because people disagree that it's a
past
person
each other
doesn't mean we can't talk about it, or that we can't establish some type of consensus. We reject the fact in our culture that just because people disagree on something that there's no consensus. People still deny the Holocaust. Does that mean it didn't happen and that help? Well, we don't know. People disagree. No, that's silly. So applying that to this, let's talk about the disagreement, establish some type of consensus or facts that we can talk about and have an intellectually honest debate. So that's what he's saying, and that's why we want to get on now let's talk about the unborn as a person, since that's the crux of the debate.
Or what you think it is.
In a structured manner? That's what we want to do.
What each person here thinks of what that is very important to us.
Yeah, go for it.
Can I tell you something that I saw that was absolutely shocking? So you talk about nature, this is naturally in the womb, you can't detach it from the mother, all that, right? It's not natural. You can't kill your baby. In nature, it will never happen, right?
No, I'm saying it's especially unnatural. It's especially unnatural for a woman to intentionally go in and kill her baby.
Okay, I had a dog.
Spontaneous abortion is something different.
So I had a dog. She gave birth to her puppies, and I think the puppies were not okay. You know what she did to them? She ate them all. Every single one of them, she ate them. She just gave birth to them. And that was what nature made that dog do. She had many litters of puppies after that. Okay?
Yeah.
That was her choice, because the puppies were not
choice, because
okay.
she's not.
Yeah, it was natural.
Reason.
You need to compare yourself.
You just said that's what nature made her.
But you're she can't
Okay,
because
keep
you're defending
going.
nature.
No, because you
Wait, keep going.
cognition. You guys don't
Let her keep
Talk
going.
about what's natural to
She's
do
going
and what's
somewhere.
not natural to do. And once the baby's in you have to keep it, you take care of it and all that, because it's unnatural to take it out, right?
It's a very interesting point. Keep going. Go ahead.
But you know what? If that dog probably could do it before, she probably would have avoided. What if my baby has Down syndrome and I don't wanna have a human with Down syndrome?
Like that sign.
It's just because you would feel embarrassed to have a child with
That's not necessarily true.
Hold on.
You obviously have no
Hold
idea
on.
what it's like to deal with a child.
I don't.
Okay, then let me tell you a little bit about something. Let me tell you
She's
with
gonna say
science. Let me tell you with science. They've done studies with people with Down syndrome. Do you know what a telomere is? It's the end of the Okay, so now I'm glad that you know that. They show that people with parents that have children with Down syndrome have statistically much shorter telomeres because of stress. Because of the stress that they will bear and have to deal with will be nothing like the stress that you will have to deal with a regular child that has no special needs.
So they age faster.
So they age faster.
Yeah.
They can develop cancer and stuff like that. It is a decision that is not based on completely wanting or
You're
wanting or
worried
not
about
looking at
yourself
appearances.
aging faster
It's
and
not-
having stress.
Okay,
Or
well,
the
why
child.
don't we talk about what the life of a child with Down syndrome is? Why don't we talk about that? Do you know what a life of a child with Down syndrome is like?
I
Do
know
you
it's
have Down
difficult.
syndrome?
You're bringing.
Oh yeah, it's difficult. Oh, it's hard, right? But it doesn't sum it up in one word. It's not just difficult. It's not just hard. It fucking sucks.
Maybe we can agree on that. Maybe we can disagree on that. I tend to
I
believe
wouldn't
you.
justify that by murdering the child.
I tend to believe
I'm
you.
not saying that that's
You know?
justification. I'm saying that it's not
There's
based on
lots of children.
Can I speak for 1 second?
You've been speaking. Can I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
There's lots of children with different types of ailments and diseases who join the Olympics, make money, like get rich. Like there's people who live through it. Just because they have a disability,
Oh,
just because they have a disability
we can all
doesn't mean
join
they're
the
incapable of
Olympics.
having a great life.
Yeah. I'm about to go join the
For
Olympics right
example,
now.
there's no reason for a child with a disability to not have a great life. Like,
Oh, but wait, are you
can't
going to
assume-
provide that great
you
life
can't
for
just,
them?
Yes,
Are you
for the
gonna
parent.
Oh, you're going to
the
provide that
parent.
great life for the parent that can't afford that great life for
Yeah.
that child. Are you going to pay for that
It's not
child's
as easy as you
medication?
think it is.
No, you're not.
Well, I
No,
never
you're
lived
not.
through it, so of course it's not going to be easy. But I'm saying I'm not going to assume that my child is going to have a miserable life because they have a disability. Like I'm going to try to
Guys?
provide a great life for my
Guys,
child.
can
Be optimistic.
Guys, can I repeat something again? You're talking about a very difficult thing that we all agree exists. And it's excruciating. Maybe it's excruciatingly hard. Maybe it's super duper tough. Extremely tough.
Super tough.
We have the right to the pursuit of happiness. We're not guaranteed happiness in this country. We all agree that nobody here has gone through life without significant suffering. Although people with Down syndrome kids, maybe they're experiencing a level of suffering that most of us don't know about and can't even imagine. I can say I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
I've
I
seen.
agree with you too, but
Okay.
No, but your
Okay.
argument with her was based upon appearances and that it was selfish.
It was
because they
selfish,
didn't
and
want
she would be
I do think it's
embarrassed.
selfish.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Dumbing down the issue. I know
on a
you
second.
want to make it a
If
simple
someone has a-
issue, but this is a very complex issue.
But-
It's not based on selfishness versus not selfishness. It's not based on appearance versus not appearance. It's a very hard issue. No woman goes to get an abortion and just decides she wants to do it for one reason. It's a multitude of reasons. It's a hard issue.
She doesn't just
I've
walk in.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that no woman wants an
And they're
abortion?
trembling afterwards.
Oh, obviously.
Because
Do we
they're
all
so
agree that no woman
depressed.
really
It's
wants
not-
an abortion?
Yeah.
Do we all agree on
Well,
that?
I don't agree.
She'll do it, but she'd rather not.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
put it that way. I would agree with that too. Nobody really wants an abortion. So right now, what we're talking about is it can be seen as the lesser of two evils. Like I don't really want an abortion, but at the same time, whoa, I really don't want a baby with all that it entails right now. Do we agree that that's kind of the balancing thing that's going on in people's
In
minds?
some people's head.
I feel like I can't.
I think that's very simple.
Maybe I feel like I
I don't
can't.
think you can say it.
For all these complex reasons that a woman may be in.
It's not.
I think there are
no,
some
I'm-
Like, I
I'm-
can't deal with the baby.
I'm trying
like,
to
maybe
agree
I
with
can't
you.
pay for the baby. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not just I.
Maybe I can't pay.
Maybe
As someone who's helped my
Hold
best
on a
friend
second,
pay
please.
for
Let me
their
finish.
abortion and gone to Planned Parenthood with them.
All these
Yeah.
things.
Like,
All these
no,
things.
it's
Maybe
a
it's even as
complicated
terrible
issue.
as rape. Maybe there's all these complicated issues that a woman is weighing in the balance. And on the other side is this lesser evil that she's thinking. And maybe this is super duper complex, tough, excruciatingly painful. And she's weighing that in the balance. Okay, we all there?
Maybe it's tough, maybe it's excruciating.
That's not the point. Yeah, he agrees with you. I don't.
Okay, let's say it is. Let's say it is. Let's say it is.
It's probably the most difficult, trying decision of a woman's life to make that.
I agree.
Other than probably having miscarrying a child.
I'm there with you. What I'm saying is I'm there with you.
He's saying it's still worse to kill her.
Time out.
From trying to have miscarriages.
What's your name, man?
Michael.
Michael, I'm trying to absorb your concerns into this argument. It could be the most difficult decision that she's ever had in her whole entire life. And I'm trying to describe it and find common ground where people are saying, what we're talking about is a woman judging this complexity, whatever the reason is that she wants to have an abortion, that she thinks it should happen, and this sense that this is bad too. And right now, abortion is seen as the lesser of two evils in a lot of women's cases, over 1.4 million times a year. That's happening. We're all there. Okay. The purpose of us being here is to say that our right to life, the most fundamental right to life, makes it go like this.
I just a really quick question. Really quickly.
Before I go to class,
I asked all three of you guys to answer my question. You didn't answer it. Is it morally wrong to unhook yourself from the violinist? Yes or no?
Oh, no.
You're saying it's not moral. What about you guys?
That thing fails because of the responsibility that we have to our own kid versus somebody else.
So you're saying there's just a maternal instinct that makes the woman somehow obligated to take care of the child solely because she's the mother?
We are all obligated to take care of our own children. Yes.
Why?
Why not? Because
that's not an.
we do have to recognize.
We don't disagree with that, do we?
I'm just what I'm asking.
Really disagree with
what I'm trying to get to is earlier he made a really good argument, but I didn't understand because he said he didn't like my section analogy, like my section abortion analogy, and he discredited.
So you want me to deal with the violinist analogy? Two reasons, at least. It fails for at least two reasons. One is the obligation that we have to our own offspring as opposed to somebody else's offspring or our other neighbor. Our obligations are different there. And two, consider this. The fetus, the embryo's natural home, natural environment is the uterus, is the womb. That's its natural home. I have a right to my home. That baby has a right to its natural home. That violinist doesn't have a right to be connected to me. It's very different.
So about your paternal, quickly because I have class. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed debating you guys. You guys are very good anti-abortion. You're way more knowledgeable than most people today. So I don't understand why. What's your point about the paternal thing? You're saying even if she has no personal attachment to the child, she still has to act like she has it. But she doesn't have an emotional attachment. So why is she morally out? You're saying she has a physical attachment, but so does the violinist.
Because of a sense of ownership. When I have a kid, I say that's my child.
But she's not saying that.
That has come from me.
She doesn't value the child.
Irrespective of whether she values the child or not, that child came from her. Who the heck else's responsibility is? It's that woman's responsibility, that man's responsibility, because it came from them. They're the parents. They bear the responsibility. If some guy jumps ship and says, sorry, sayonara, good luck, he's an asshole and he's shirking his responsibility. That's why we get mad at those guys, because they have a responsibility. He took part in that. That kid is his responsibility.
What if it wasn't her child and she was using someone else's eggs?
If anybody wants to use somebody else's eggs to get pregnant, it's because they want the baby.
So, but if for some reason she didn't want to have the child
and she made that happen. She said, "Hey, I want your egg, and I'm going to give birth to this kid."
But if for some reason she didn't want to have the child
anymore, she signs the contract.
But if for some reason
the deal is done, now it's her responsibility.
If she didn't, it's not about a contract. That's like legal. That's legal.
That's what happens.
This is about ethics. This isn't about the law. The law says abortion's fine. You don't agree with the law. We're not talking about the law. We're talking about ethics. So, the law. I'm saying if she changes her mind and she doesn't have an attachment to the child anymore, what attachment other than physical attachment does she have? And if there is no other attachment, if she doesn't have an emotional attachment, and it is just a physical attachment, then I don't see how it's different than the
in that weird, bizarre scenario,
which isn't weird. It happens all the time.
Where somebody, no, in vitro fertilization happens, sure, and other eggs happen, sure, but I think it would be rare for them to say, oh, wait a minute, this is crazy.
Things happen. People realize their spouse might die.
I'll go with it.
It happens all the time.
I'll go with your analogy. And the reason that person still bears responsibility is because she agreed to the proposition. That's now a human being there, and she is now responsible. This person, they had an agreement in which this person abdicated well, at that point it's an ovum.
But she didn't agree to get pregnant. What if she didn't agree to get pregnant?
Wait. This is I'm going with your hypothetical. You're changing it faster than I can keep up with.
I'm sorry.
She bears that responsibility because she took that responsibility as part of that agreement. She now has that because, she assumed that responsibility the moment that she entered into that contract, and I do enter into contract.
Right, okay.
The spirit of the contract, too.
The spirit. I'm not going to keep you guys. You guys are fantastic.
What's your name, man? Marcus, good talking.
Yeah, last thing, I'll just say, I really would like you guys to just really look at the empirical evidence, make sure that you're 100% sure that you do believe